back at WNST, Charleston, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're positively into the post-Preakness parade around here, which it used to mean baseball season. I think it still does. It's crab cake season because it's almost Memorial Day. We're going to be doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour with our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Win Donation at Falston, and we're going to be up at the local award-winning Restaurant Association of Maryland's Chef of the Year. We're going to be sampling the crab cakes. Real beautiful menu up in Falston. Everyone up there in Harford County tells me we got to get there. We'll be there on Tuesday, and then you'll hear it later on in the week. And it's been a little bit of a fractured month. There's Preakness, there's baseball, we began the Lamar thing and the draft thing and all of that, and now we're finally up, exhaling a little bit on Memorial Day weekend. Dennis Koulatsos joins us here. He'll be here on Thursday from 3 until 5, and again on Sunday morning for the Memorial Day weekend. You know, if I know you, you were probably watching a PGA championship. I know you're not like a horse racing guy, but I have a feeling you were into the Preakness. And this Orioles sweep thing north of the border, I mean, I've been talking for a month now since baseball started and the Lamarathon sort of kicked in and then went away and he got his money. Sports is back again in a way that makes the sports guy in me, where I'm at the track watching the game, at the game watching the track, following the NBA, coming home watching golf and hockey on a Sunday. Dennis, it's this all went away with the plague, and I think there's a period of time where the Orioles have been so irrelevant that it made baseball, which was really a big part of the meal around here for most of our lives. This has been a fun spring, man.
And it's about to get even more fun. Nestor, I saw a story that the Baltimore Orioles released their City Connect uniforms. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but they have big Baltimore right across the chest. So it says Baltimore. They have the B on their hats. It's a production from Nike. The font is inspired by the Maryland Institute of College of Art. It's a good thing. They're doing great things on the field and also in the community.
Well, I saw the uniforms that were rumored to be the ones, and they looked very, very plain. And it turns out that they are the same ones, right? They have a little color on the sleeve, but they're orange and black, white Baltimore, orange swoosh, and you know, for the city, and I'll say this, and I've been talking about this all morning because it takes what happened last week, which is Shohei Ohtani. You went back to the ballpark. All of my clients, lots of my friends, everybody went back to the ballpark. And if I didn't see you at the ballpark, I ran into you at the race on Saturday, right? Like the race was vibrant. There were people out there. It was there were no fights, no the running of the urinals, none of that. There were couples and groups of single women and groups of dudes and young people, and it was a wide mix of people. African American people were not spotted at the Preakness 30 years ago. Trust me, I was there. This was like a real Baltimore melting pot of what they want the race to be, and Bruno Mars, and it rained and whatever, and Bob Baffert, we lost a horse. There was a lot of protesting going on of the animals out there. But I, as a sports guy, as a guy that's lived this, Dennis, and I'm pleased that I've lived long enough to see the race still here and vibrant to the point where if you went to the race Saturday, and I know you got to sell cars the third Saturday of May, I realize that. Dennis, it's something to bring your girl out to. It's something everybody should do. People should go to the Preakness. They really should.
I saw your comments on Twitter, Nestor. You said that there were a lot less people at the track this year as compared to years past. You talked about 2018 and 2019 and the size of the crowds back then as opposed to now.
I look, they did away with the Preakness that I knew, and you and the buddies from Essex that would run around out there and shipping in thousands of college kids on school buses to get annihilated, right? Like, I did all that. I ran buses out there. That's what it used to be, right? And then Tom Chukis came in, and they had that year where nobody went. That's the year I actually watched it on TV, right? I've never really watched the Preakness coverage on TV to see how the city is portrayed, to see how the state's portrayed, to see how racing is portrayed. And Listen, I was out there all day Saturday. I got hot, I got cold, I got sunned on, I got rained on. We had 4 seasons out there, right? I ran into Westmore. I ran into former Republican governors. I ran into 2 mayors that have gone up the river, all in the same day. Like all in the same space.
Mhm.
It's such a celebration for the state, and they've tried to put this thing together and hold this thing together. And I don't know what the track's going to become, and I'm assuming 51 weeks from now they're going to run the race again. I'm just saying, for what it represents for the state, and the Orioles and the Ravens kind of coming together, and Under Armour with their thing, and John Harbaugh's out there, and Marlon Humphrey's out there, and Russell Simmons was out there. I saw pictures, right? Cal Ripken's out there. It's just a really special thing. And as I get older, and it's something that's going on my whole life, it's not the same as it used to be. I think they've made it better. And I think, as much as I've
Good.
gone to Kentucky Derby, and I've always said, why can't it be like that here? There's so much more they can do. I did the crab races last week, and this is about when I get with Brandon Scott, and when I get with Westmore, and when I get with the people that are involved with the race, whether Belinda Stronach is ever going to meet me and sit on the show. I don't know. I really, they got a new name now. First bet, I don't even know what it's. I walk past it all day, doing all new branding, all this stuff. I pray for some peace for them, that this can continue to be something good for our community, because, like, we had a really great day. And I went out and bought my wife. I didn't buy her one dress on Friday, Dennis. I bought her 8 dresses. I went out to the store Friday. I shopped for her. I brought all these dresses. She could take them back, the one she doesn't want, right? So she had to work. She put on a pretty dress and a hat. And after all she's been through, she loves horses. She likes drinking. She loves Bruno Mars. She likes socializing. She likes good weather. She likes nice people. She likes exercise. So it was just a really nice weekend. And the
Good.
Orioles winning is really nice. And seeing basketball and hockey that are relevant, and seeing golf, and seeing this guy, this PGA pro hit a hole in one. It's just, I'm ebullient today about sports and about what I witnessed for the city. Dennis, I sat in traffic on Thursday trying to get downtown. You know why? There was a baseball game that mattered to
That's
people.
awesome. That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? I sat in traffic on Thursday. It was good traffic, you know?
Good. Good. It's good traffic and bad traffic, and that was good traffic. The Celtics and Lakers on the brink of elimination. The NBA very much at the forefront of sports. You talked about Kepka and the PGA Championship. Ravens signs Josh Johnson. Don't know that move excites me or moves the needle. Teddy Bridgewater would have been a great story. I know that they're tight up against the cap, but you hit a lot of great points this weekend, and I did some fishing Sunday, and that's, as you mentioned, a lot of great stuff is happening. Orioles right there walking down the Rays. It seems like that they're walking them down, aren't they?
Do you feel the Preakness when at your dealership on a weekend, or do you not?
Well, we usually wrap it around a sales contest. So our salespeople, the first one that sells a car gets to pick his horse, and National Treasure was the first one off the board, and so on and so forth. So the sales team got to pick 7 horses early, and then of course the post time 7:05 or so. So we were gathered around TV set, hooting and hollering with the customers that we had watching the race for the couple minutes that it lasted.
Dennis, I'm dirty. You know that, right? So, like, I would, if I had a Friday night sale in my pocket, I could bring it in Saturday morning, right? Like, I saw Glenn Ross. You know, I know how to sell. I've been ABCing. You know what I mean? So
I know that. I know
so
that.
so Saturday morning, how does this, well, I want to hear this. So I'm your sales guy. I show up 8:30, 8 o'clock Saturday morning. I'm ready to go. First car. This is
First, and you
fun.
know what? I'll tell you, the first car we know we said if first place pays 500 and second place pays 300, third place pays 200, etc. And also, if we exceeded 30 sales, we double the prize money. And so we
Ooh,
actually
team
sold
sales.
34 vehicles Saturday, and so first place became $1,000. So it's not bad on the top of your
So he
commission.
won 500 around 6:30, quarter to 7, and then by 9:30,
9:30. Yep, 10
Dennis
o'clock.
has doubled the money. Mr. Coons doubled the
We
money.
double that money. We double that money. So it's look, it gets us engaged, involved, talking, and even the customers that were here late Saturday night, they were able to witness it with us, and it got quite loud because, of course, it was a very, very close race towards the end.
I'm going to say something, and I know you're not going to go because it's a big day on your dealership, but I'm good because I've seen you dressed up. I've seen you out with Fish. and I've seen you with Dan Marino at wonderful events, right? And I mean this, and this is really a shame that they don't have me running the racetrack at this point, or me running the Orioles. Just in a general, I've come a long way with this, right? From the bird soaker incident to them now having a section where they do it
Yeah,
professionally.
it's great.
The Preakness for me and the weekend, seeing my wife in a dress and a hat, seeing everybody else's girl or single girls, or Dennis, I've never felt more like that it's a community event. And I've brought this up a couple of times because I've gone to 40 Preaknesses. It was not an event where young African American people brought their girl and
No,
dressed up
understood.
and brought
Understood.
people out. It was not an event where young 18, 19, 20-year-old girls put on dresses and came out. It was an event where they put on maybe a bathing suit,
Right.
or the dudes put on white. I mean, I'm from
Oh,
Dundalk. I did
I
it that
know.
way for years. It is a They've turned this in to Derby Light, or the
Okay.
Maryland
Well, good.
Derby, and they've turned it into something where your girl should be bothering you because her girlfriends all went out and wore a dress and did all that, to say, hey, next year, can we do that? Because it's just turned into a better event, Dan.
Now,
Like,
what time did you get there? What time did you get there on a Saturday?
well, I mean, I
Now
have a
you now you
story.
now you got me thinking about next year.
All right, I got there. They run everything about it's different. Okay, so if you never went,
I've never
so
been.
you have nothing to compare it to.
Never been to a track of any type.
It used to be 8 a.m. Open the gates. People get
Right.
hammered. First race at like 10:30.
Right. You get
The
an
pre
infield, everybody drinks, gets rowdy, the whole 9 yards.
there was bands. 98 Rock would have 3 bands at 11, 1, and 3. There was always like a bigger band. Cheap Trick would play at 3, or ZZ Top would play at 3. And the big race was always 5:15, 5:20, 5:40, like in that.
Yeah.
And there was always the 11th or 12th race of the day. There'd be one more race, and everybody goes home at 6 o'clock. Hammered, sun setting, get out of here, go to the Orioles game if they're home, whatever you do, right? And it was always 130,000 people in a space that there's no parking, there's no people, there's bus. Most people came on bus, quite frankly, on beer buses, like for years and years and years. That's the way it worked. It's the way I remember the Preakness. Chukas broke it, remember, 10 years ago when they took the beer out of the infield. They made you buy it. You can't bring your own booze in anymore. Now we're a generation away from that. They had their ZZ Top things. They had Bruno Mars. These people tried to wreck the race. Let's be honest. They've been trying to kill this race and steal it and take it somewhere else. They went through that period. In 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, they tried to screw it up. They tried to kill it, literally. Now they're back to watering it again. They brought in Bruno Mars, Dennis. It's the biggest act in the world, right?
I saw Bruno a couple of years ago. It was fantastic. Sat six rows back. It was fantastic.
I mean,
And
Bruno Mars is as big a star.
phenomenal.
That,
What time did he play? What time did he come on?
Okay, so we went out in the morning, and I'm like, is he playing at 2, 3, 4?
Right.
The race isn't until almost 7 o'clock now.
Right.
They run the race really late for TV, right? And for NBC and like all that. So it's a made for television production like that. So it's changed everything about the heartbeat, that if you've been to Preaknesses in the past, we went and, like, no offense, they're terrible at what they do. The Maryland the people that run it, if you go to Preakness.com and are looking for information on race, that you can't even find it. It's awful. They have no infrastructure. Like, they really don't. They could barely get me my pass. I mean, David Joseph, thank you. I know you're understaffed, like all of that. But we didn't know when Bruno Mars was playing. And then my wife's like, he's playing at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, it doesn't even make any sense. Everybody's going to be hammered and sunburned and wanting to leave by then, right? It didn't make any sense to me. We went out there at not by accident. We wanted to get out there 12:30. We got there about 1:15, 1:30. We ate before we went because we were unsure of this and that. We got out there and we parked, and we came in back through the media stall area, and I ran into Bob Baffert. And it was just me and my wife and Bob Baffert and a little contingent, and they were game faced. And he barely said hello to me. Like, he kept going. I said, something's wrong. His horse had just fallen. And we didn't know that. Mm-hmm. He was walking back. Like, we had the, oh my God face on. I mean, I've known Bob 30 years. His horse just died, and it was awful to see him in that condition at 1:30. So we got out to the track, and we found the grandstand. Now, Dennis, I could tell you that the grandstand has been exiled, right? Like it's covered in a black tarp because it's untenable. You can't have people sit there. It's a disaster area inside the track. Okay. So the grandstand doesn't exist anymore. Clubhouse is still there, still functional, water's still running, elevator didn't work to the 7th floor of the press box. You got to get to the press box, you go straight 7 floors straight up and down. There's no elevator. So I mean the thing's falling apart. Okay. I mean, I'm not here to sugarcoat that. I'm here to talk about the event and the day. And they've built these $1 million tents in the infield. The infield's really where it's at. The infield has upscale food, drinks. They drink you, they eat you, they grandstand. You know, they give you a grandstand experience inside, and it's not cheap, but it's a beautiful day. Everyone is dressed up. Everyone is ready for a day. Everyone is in a good spirit. By the time Bruno Mars came on at 8 o'clock, it started to rain and hard.
Wow.
So it was not
you're right.
ideal in any way. Everybody got hammered by rain. It was not a perfect event. We lost a horse earlier in the day. Dennis, I have never seen more protesting of horse racing and of creatures and of these creatures dying. It's everywhere outside the track. I mean, the PETA people have come down hard, like they have on dog racing, like they have on the circus. This is next up, and they're coming after the horse racing industry. Now, I'll say this. From a racing standpoint and a Baltimore standpoint, I ran into 4 governors. I ran into 4 mayors of Baltimore. I ran into every politician you can imagine. I ran into Cal Ripken, Marlon Humphrey, John Harbaugh, Gayle King, Russell Simmons. I mean, all sorts of people come to the race. But I just think they've really lost their way, that Dennis doesn't feel invited, and they haven't come after your Maryland pride or your Baltimore pride, because they got me over the weekend in being out there in feeling like this is like the Orioles have been reborn, and you feel something for the Orioles last week in a way going down there. You feel like we should all be a part of this, right? Like I feel that way about the Preakness, and that's why I'm being ebullient with you. Not everything was perfect. My jackets got drenched. I got drenched. We look like wet rats, but it's something that I went out and picked out a dress for my wife for the first time in 5 years. You know what I mean? So like being able to have that kind of an event, that's an annual event. I saw a lot of people out there that either have never been to a Preakness or haven't been to many, that had a girl that was dressed up, and they were dressed up, and they were doing something special. And maybe for the first time or one of the handful of times they've done it. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one that had a really good time at the track Saturday, despite the weather. I had a really good time.
Did you all stay for the Bruno Mars concert?
We
did
it
really
all.
go off 8 o'clock?
It went off at 8:00.
How long did you stay?
He only played 50 minutes. It was a light version of his.
Gotcha. But he's such a fantastic performer. I mean, seriously, he's amazing.
He was unbelievable, and we had an unbelievable time. It was very memorable, and I think the whole thing was great. And I'm just on record for everybody that thinks we should kill the race, have it go away. The Orioles, I never wanted the Orioles to go away. I wanted them to be fixed. Like that's what Free the Birds was about. By the way, then you want to talk about marketing. I'm walking through the track late in the day. It was after the race. It was like 7 o'clock. A guy comes by me and he yells, "Free the Birds, 508." Just keeps going by me. And I'm like, wow, 17 years ago. They remember, you know. Give me your Oriole experience. You had a good time at the Oriole game last week, and you're of the mindset that people should go back, right?
I had a great experience. We went Sunday and for Mother's Day, and then we went Monday evening to watch Shohei Ohtani, and he put on a show, got on base 5 times. Saw a historic event that not that anyone's ever seen since 1964. We had a blast. You know, we love the Orioles, and unfortunately, both of the games we went to, we lost. But then they came back. But it's just nice to go to the park. You see a lot. It's intimate. You see a lot of your friends, like you said. It's Baltimore. You connect the community. You connect with the team. I just can't wait to go again. And now I have all kind of vendors offer me tickets, and in the past I would give them away. But guess what? Now I'm going to start taking advantage of them.
You got a friend named Nestor that's looking for a free ticket.
Yeah, I'm always down for a free ticket. Absolutely.
Well, they're in New York all week, and there's a heartbeat to the city and the vibrancy, even to the Preakness, when they're sweeping Toronto over the weekend and going to New York and coming home this weekend. And the notion is, it's a homestand. I'm going to go to a game, right? That's how you look at it. That's the entryway. That's the gateway drug, right? Is they're in, they're not in first place, but they might be by the end of the week. But they would be in first place in any other division. Okay, they're really good, and
Second best team in baseball based on their record. But look, I have a parking pass near the stadium, so it's not a big deal for me to park a couple blocks away. It's a short walk, and I like seats behind home plate. I like being there close to the action. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, Dennis, for me, the sports heartbeat of everything that went away during the plague, that's gone away with the Orioles not being relevant, and with the Preakness is, I mean, look, the Preakness is 51 weeks away. Okay, I won't be a bullying about the Preakness 3 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now, or telling you to buy ahead or go to the Maryland Million or any of that, right? But in the aftermath, in the halo of the honeymoon of going, is it a yes or a no? It should be a yes for everybody in Baltimore. And the reason I'm saying this is I saw all of these young people. This isn't about old whippersnappers or people whipping out $400-500 to sit with me and Barry Glazer in the the hoi polloi or whatever. This was about a lot of people having a special memory with their girlfriends, with their boyfriends, with their buddies, with their friends, with their girl, with their guy at an event, and it felt like a Baltimore event. It wasn't a bunch of frat boys coming in. These were Baltimore people making it a Baltimore thing, and I love seeing that. I really did. I like seeing the community own the event over the weekend.
All right, Ness, you know what? You got me excited about the Preakness now. So next year, by the grace of God, we will be there. We'll buy the dress, we'll buy the tickets, and we'll show up.
I think there, if you went, if my friends were, if Leonard, if my clients and friends took a day and we all said, look, it's not going to be a cheap one. We'll put a couple $100 in because we want to do the buffet and just do it nice, do it the right way.
Only way to
Get
go.
a hat, dress up, take some pictures, be goofs. We didn't bet a race all day. We looked at the form and we just never. I'm not a gambler. I didn't bet a race. So just so you know, I didn't win, I didn't lose. Although I did see, we were watching the race. My wife was up on a chair. I had her up on the chair with her hat on. She's watching the big race. And I turned around. I saw a guy win 24 grand. He's like, 24 grand. He was hugging his buddy. They just won $24,000.
$24,000 is a lot of money.
So they were all, so I saw people excited, and for that, and I'm excited about the Orioles, and honestly, watching the PGA thing with the live thing and Brooks Koepka, watching this PGA Pro. I had Richard Shepard on last week from Forest Park, from our Classic 5 partners. And here's this young African-American golf pro in West Baltimore inviting people out all week. It's been up on our website all week. And at the end, he made sure he said, hey, this is the PGA Championship. There's a guy like me who's my golf pro who went off and is playing the tournament. And lo and behold, a week later, this guy's the Mike Block, right? He's the biggest star in America this week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
hole in one, dude. He had a hole in one in the PGA Championship.
And it was a hole in one. It wasn't a roll, and it just dropped right into the cup and stayed there. That was an amazing shot.
Well, I mean, that's why we like golf, right? That's why my wife switched from baseball to hockey to golf on a Sunday afternoon after spending a day with horse racing. Dennis, we're almost like a sports radio station again. Don't tell anybody.
We love our sports, right? No shortage of content. It seems like the virus is behind us, and nothing but smooth sailing ahead.
And listen, just to let everybody know that I'm still nasty Nestor when I need to be. I've re-released the Peter Principles just so you can see how it used to be. All right. So you can see how far we've come. I've released chapter 2 of the Peter Principles. Dennis Koulatsos will be here. He'll be releasing all of his chapters from 3 until 5 on Thursday. It is the Dennis Koulatsos Show, and D Koulatsos Show is the way to find him out on Twitter, as well as Dennis Koulatsos. And on Sunday morning, getting ready for Memorial Day weekend, give me a little Security Boulevard primer as to what we're going to find. And I saw Johnny O out there making the new security area out there, the old Security Square area. What are we going to find out there this weekend? Because I tell you what, financing's crazy right now. You still have some zeros out there.
We have some zeros, right? Man. The zeros are driving a lot of traffic to our store. We have some zeros. We have some 0.9% on most of our vehicles, and that's driving a lot of traffic. And the other piece is we have inventory. We have over 200 new and 200 pre-loved vehicles on the lot. So it's we have more inventory than most. So our customers, friends, neighbors, and they can take advantage of the savings, and also not just that, but the fantastic selection that we have going on right now. We also have no payments until after Labor Day, so you can drive all summer without making a payment. That's a big story around here.
Well, for you with this the financing part of this, and because I talked to Leonard a lot about money, right? So what he does for a living. How many people come in there and get a little sticker shock by that part of the transaction that you have no control over, other than Ford Motor Credit comes in and says, "Hey, that we're going to put these cars up," and I would think those cars are, for my wife, even that the sport that she drove, she will greatly consider a different vehicle and a different, just to say, "Hey, what do you have
It's the
that's
deal.
that's a deal?"
Yes, everybody's looking for the deal. So we do have deals for everyone, even for our cash buyers. Why pay cash for something when you can get 0% financing for 36 months? You can put that money in the bank and earn 5% right now in a high yield savings account alone. You can put your money there. You can pull it out anytime you want to, should you choose to purchase something. But you'd rather see our customers earn 5% and take advantage of the 0% that Ford is offering. So most people these days, they are credit rating, credit score conscious, and they want to get the best interest rate. So most of our customers that come in here, they know the deal, and that's what drives traffic for
Well, it's
us.
just going up. I mean, for cars and houses, I think it's changed the way everybody has to sell and the way that a consumer looks at it
It
and what they're
does.
looking for. But he's got deals. He's out there at Coons Baltimore
You got
Ford.
deals,
You
baby.
can find him out at security. You can find him out on Twitter. You can find him on his phone, as he always reads the phone number off here. And we'll be here again on Thursday from 3 until 5. I hope I got you excited about sports, Dennis Koulatsos.
I'm super excited. You got me more excited about the Preakness next year now. That's the deal.
He'll
He'll
be
be
here on
there.
Thursday, and he's here with us. And you got to get me an orange Coons shirt, so
It's coming.
I
Absolutely.
look cool. We are WNST AM 1570 Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore positive. Stay with us.